All right, let's have a seat and reach the arms up. Welcome, Katie. Aloha, everyone. And as we exhale, bend and drop the chin. Thank you for being here. Inhale, arms up. Just move a little more slowly as you start to recognize, oh, this is my body this morning. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Hi, Maria. Exhale. Hi, Ronnie. Hope you're feeling better. Two more. And one more. I taught a chair yoga class yesterday for the first time in I don't know how many years. Let's bring our left arm down, which probably looks like my left arm in the screen, and reach that right arm over and just open and close. And then sweep it around, and then the other direction. And you know what? I'm sore from that chair yoga because we used weights. Let's bring the right hand to the back of the head. And as we exhale, bring that inner right elbow into inner left elbow. Take a few breaths here. Now, even if you're sitting cross-legged, you might bring your hand onto a block. Just take a few breaths and just access the stretch all the way down into low back. I say it feels good to be back online. Didn't expect that. Well, mostly because of you guys. And then sweep this right elbow up, all the way up. Let's come onto our hands and knees, toes under, and just some gentle cat and cow. And what I found interesting yesterday is when I asked and inquired, what did we have? We had a full house, 20 people maybe. And I asked if they knew cat cow. And there was very little recognition in the room, which I found extremely unusual, except for the fact that probably 85% were in there because of osteoporosis. So this is can be a very extreme flexion and extension pose for the spine. And that's the only reason I can figure out, but I'm going to ask the teacher about that. And let's flatten our feet here, maybe flipper them out if you've got enough padding, and shift on back. Sweep the arms wide and up. And as we bring this right arm down, reach the left arm over. Just feel that. Maybe rotate the head. So feel it mostly in the front part of the body there. And then let's do a little bit of sweeping. Now it's going to look different for everyone. And then go in the opposite direction. Ronnie, I miss you. I spent 4 days with Ronnie and we had some nice intimate moments on the beach. And then let's bend this left elbow, head to the hand. I hope you guys can join me next time. I've started to receive some feedback, so thank you. And now let's exhale, bring this left elbow into the inner right elbow and inhale up. So this idea of osteoporosis and bone health, in the yoga community, we understand that there still needs to be movement. Perhaps not as vigorous as we once did, but the important thing is to create extension prior to flexion extension. So let's keep this left elbow now in towards the right inner elbow and take several breaths, accessing a little deeper stretch into low back, left side, outside. That's the only reason why I can think of why a class of chair yoga is not familiar with cat cow stretch. Or maybe she calls it something else, like its real name. And then reach that left elbow up, release it down, come forward onto hands and knees. And so one of the benefits of ViniYoga is this movement called Chakravakasana. So now instead of the rounding of the back, which is a beautiful flexion and arching the lower back, a beautiful extension on the front, contraction in the back. Let's come to a neutral spine and take a few breaths into the belly. So we'll move and work with extensions today as Katie and I and Ronnie are back, extending into this newfound self of significant expansion. As you exhale in this position, you all know how to do this. Feel the low pelvic muscles lift, the lower bellies, mid bellies, and then feel the ribs funnel in without rounding the upper back and dropping the chin. See if you can do a few more like that. When I do this pose, I often have a visual of like a racehorse, which is a beautiful and torturous sport all at the same time. But those horses just stand so beautifully, so strong, so quiet, and yet alert. What do I know what's going on inside of the horse's mind? Let's do one more breath here. Now, as we draw low belly, mid belly, ribs in, begin to drop the elbows. As the elbows drop, shift the hips back. Then the forehead drops, the butt drops. Inhale forward. Exhale, low belly, mid belly, funnel the ribs in. So the beautiful thing about the retreat is handful of people now are on a deeper level of integration, which only carries the rest of us forward here on the mainland. Now stay here. Breathe deep into low back. Squeeze the inner arms together as the forehead makes it towards the floor. You can always elevate the forehead with the block. Now, as you breathe here for several more breaths, notice when you relax the the lower back, and maybe feel the weight in the chest onto the thighs. And then notice what happens when you activate low bellies, mid bellies, rib funnels in, and feel this stretch deep in the sacrum. So if you can imagine that sacrum, that triangular bone flanked on either side by your pelvic bone, inserting the ligaments in between. Feel the ligaments expand on the inhale and on the exhale, much like, let's see, Elmer's glue in the sun. Right, it's holding it together, but because it's warm now, it doesn't have as much stiffness. Or putty. Think of silly putty. Not wood glue, not super glue, not plaster. Now feel that expansion. Let's come up onto our hands and knees and see if we can continue that expansion nice and slow. Squeeze legs towards midline in this position and feel how you're creating space in the sacrum. Shoulders drop down. Let's keep our left foot to the floor. Extend the right leg straight back, toe onto the floor. Now keep squeezing legs towards midline. You'll feel the belly lift and tone. Then, if you can, extend the left arm forward, right leg lift. Stay here for a few breaths till you're still squeezing towards midline. Now we're going to do bird dog without the flexion. So as you exhale, keep this beautiful elongated spine. And as you exhale, bring the knee, left knee, or right knee towards left elbow. And inhale. So it'd be interesting, Monica, to see how this serves you, given the uniqueness of your spine. Two more. Feel the extension as the bellies pull in. It's a little harder. And last one. And then bring this left arm out to the left side. Bend the right knee so the right heel kicks towards your buttocks. Lower the left hand to the floor. And now swing the right knee out to the side and towards your right elbow. And then let's do a few little fire hydrants. Exhale up, inhale down. Feel the work. Keep the elongation of the spine. Two more. And then lower the knee down. Keep your toes under. Walk the hands forward, coming onto the forearms. Bring the palms together, elbows stay roughly shoulder width apart. And as you shift your hips back, press the elbows in, palms stay together, fingertips towards the sky. Feel the elongated stretch. So it was quite educational coming back to chair yoga. I had actually forgotten that I had taught a class probably 18 years ago at Smith Ranch Road. I did a full-on presentation for about 50 people. We had a lot of fun. One more breath. And then flatten the feet, straighten the arms, slide the arms back. Let's do Vajrasana, nice and slow. Stand on those knees, feel the quads, lift the hips, arms wide and up. Stay standing, draw the belly in, rotate towards the right, bend both elbows. So even though you're bringing it down, you're lifting the belly up. Inhale through center, other side. Exhale, side to side. And arms all the way up. Press the knees down. Maybe walk them a little wider. Maybe go from side to side. Maybe on your knees is not a good idea. But feel the lengthening of the tailbone. Arms up and back. Let the arms come wide. Spin the palms towards the ceiling and without collapsing in the lower back. Let's have an upward facing back bend. So front belly is very strong. And also bend the elbows. Make sure this is okay for your neck, but feel the work. And then inhale the arms up. Keep that length and extension. Draw the bellies in nice and slow. And back down onto the hands and knees. Come forward, inhale. Draw lower belly, pelvic floor, lower belly, ribs in, and lower the elbows down. Chakravakasana for these. Remember, the head's the last thing. Inhale forward, keep the shoulders down, squeeze towards midline, pelvic floor, low bellies, ribs funnel in, elbows down, shift back. So you can almost feel this kind of sliding. And one more. If you get bored with the slowness of it, dial into the sensation. What else can you feel? And then as we come forward, keep the shoulders down, squeeze legs towards midline, and feel the opening in the sacrum. So remember, your sacrum's like a little diamond. The fat part on the top, skinny part on the bottom is surrounded by ligaments, not muscles, ligaments. So there's minimal movement, and yet it does move. And it does hurt when it moves and there's not the muscular strength around it from surrounding tissues. So now shift the weight to the right knee, extend the left leg out, but keep the toe on the floor. If you can squeeze towards midline and keep the opening in the sacrum so we can keep extending into the spine. And then when you're ready, reach the right arm forward, left leg back. Now we're going to keep the extension of the spine, no flexion here. And as you exhale, bring the right elbow to left knee, but don't drop your chin, head, or neck. Inhale, extend. Exhale, feel the low bellies pull in. It's such a satisfying experience when you can dial in and access deeper connections and sensations. That's what I experienced on Maui. God, I can't believe I was there and back. One more breath here. Keep it extended. Feel the bellies pull in. Squeeze legs towards midline. Reach the right arm out to the side. Bend the left knee. Lower the right arm down. Lift the left knee out to the side and towards your left elbow. And then let's lower the knee to the floor and lift it up on the exhale. Fire hydrants. Lower the left knee down. Shift back to child's pose. Slide the hands back, stand onto the knees. Now sweep the arms behind you and up. Let's grab elbow to hand, hand to elbow. Reach the left elbow up even as you resist with your right fingertips. As you exhale, sit back towards your heels. You may not come all the way down. See how your knees feel, Maria. And then come on up. Right elbow up. Resist with your left fingertips. Sit back into the chair or into your heels. Again, inhale, left elbow up and lower down. Right elbow up. Good. And sit back as far as you can go. And then come back up onto your knees. Keep the elbows in front of you now. Squeeze legs towards midline. Feel your buttocks engage. Reach the elbow towards the right. But keep your torso rotating towards the left. Maybe look over your left shoulder as you take an extra breath. Inhale towards center. Arms towards the left. Feel your body and head rotate towards the right. Breathe. Squeeze towards center. So can the upper body move in directions you're not accustomed to and the lower body stay safe? Reach the arms up. Nice, Maria. Bring the hands behind you now. Squeeze arm bones together. Take a breath here. Maria, tell me how is it standing on your knees? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay, good. So we're going to stay here and let's access a little more internal core. Now I'm squeezing the arms behind me intentionally. So chest lifts, lower back wants to collapse, but keep lifting and toning. You can bring your arms out to the side if you need to, but we're going to find our balance as we shift the weight to the left knee. Press into the top of the right foot and lift the right knee. Can't go very far. And then lower down, shift to the right knee, press into the top of the left foot and lift the knee a little easier. Go side to side a few times so your feet are flat, toenails towards the floor. You're using the leverage of the flat toenail side to lift that same knee up. So you can feel as you do that a few more times, the sacrum is shifting in the back body, asking quite a bit of it. Don't stick your booty back. Come back towards center now. Release the arms up towards the sky. Now we've been really practicing keeping the lower back long. So now hands come to the small of the back. Lengthen, forward fold. Lift the chest, draw the bellies in. Now you know. And exhale. The benefit. Reach the benefit of a full inhalation. Arms wide, chest lift, eyes lift. And then not just the low back extends, extend the upper back of the neck. How long can the back spine be, even as you come into a back bend? Only serves us when we come to standing. One more. Now, arms forward, slow it down. 5, 4, child's pose. 3, 2, and 1. Take a free breath here. Palms to the floor. And then slide the hands back, come back and stand on our knees. Palms face each other behind you. Access your triceps. Now shift the weight to the left knee. Press into that right flat top toe. And very gracefully, can you bring that right foot forward? How'd you do? Good. Hands now come to the small of the back. Squeeze the elbows. As you bend into the right knee, feel the lengthening of the low belly. Sweep the left arm up. As you exhale, come back. So you might need to adjust that top foot. Inhale. See if that right hip is lifting away from the left. As you come back, can you even them out? Maybe you can flip the right toe up. Inhale. Now, this is probably too much for a compressed low back, but see if you can keep it nice and long while still getting a stretch into your psoas left side. Let's do two more. And then we're going to stay there and just lubricating the joint. Last one here, we're going to stay. Right hand stays in the lower back. So now draw the pelvic floor, low bellies in, let the shoulders shift forward so you're like a ski slope. Keep that extension as you lower the chest onto the right thigh. If you have that flexibility, left hand to the floor. Inhale, extend, glide the right hip back. As you exhale, draw the bellies in, reach the right arm behind and rotate up. So see how we're picking this apart so that you can experience the extension. You can have your left hand onto the block. And then as you take your next exhalation, keep long, left shoulder down, bend the right elbow and spin back towards the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, reach the right arm behind. So imagine you're on a skewer and someone's pulling your head off. Inhale, bend in repetition. Exhale, rotate right arm up. Inhale, so dial in. And last one, exhale up. Now, can you bend the right knee a little more without that left shoulder lifting up and rotate your gaze towards the top hand? Keep pulling the right heel back towards left knee. And then sweep the right arm forward, follow it with your eyes, down onto the floor. Glide the right hip back, walk your hands back, lift the right toe, and come into a runner's lunge. But can you do a runner's lunge without rounding the upper back? You can have your hands on the blocks, a slight knee bend, Katie, on this side. Can it be just as satisfying as rounding your nose towards your knee, or even more satisfying? And then let the chest lift, bend the right knee, left toe goes under, elevate the left knee, step back into plank. Now I've traveled off my yoga mat. Which feels more extended, your plank, or let's exhale up to down dog. How can you extend the back of the spine in this posture? How about roll the inner arms towards one another, accessing triceps? Pelvic floor, low bellies lift, ribs funnel in, and yet the shoulders stay down. Head doesn't completely fall off. Ears are aligned with the arms. Press the palms down. Access the serratus muscles. You guys know where that is, I think. And then keep that extension, lift the heels, come forward plank. 4 breaths here. You can always drop your knees. Lower the knees down, flatten the feet, keep the low back long, elbows down as you shift back child's pose. Bring your palms together and stretch into those very triceps that you were contracting as the palms stay together, fingertips towards the sky. Breathe here. So notice the quality of this practice. It's therapeutic, and yet we're flowing, and yet it's hard, and yet we're slow. Welcome to ViniYoga. 2 more breaths here while I take off my socks. Feel your heat. Feel your attention. It's hard to dial in and then forget about it. Once you've dived into a deeper experience of your own physicality, your own emotional body, your own mental body, all the layers, why would you want to come out? All right, back up onto our hands and knees. Let's stand on our knees as we slide the hands back. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms open. Knees hip distance apart. We'll just call them bellies. Lift, tone, shoulder blades drop down. Find your little bit of a back bend with a long back body. Squeeze legs towards midline. Let the arms come back a little bit more. Head shifts forward. Now let's bring our left foot forward. Very mindfully and consciously shift the weight to the right knee. Press into the top of the left foot. Feel the thighs engage. And then see if you can easily bring that left foot forward. Nice. Bring the hands to the small of the back. Glide the left hip back. Keep the length and extension now as we sweep this right arm forward. Inhale, bending the left knee. Exhale. Each exhalation, bellies pull in. Each inhalation, bellies stay in, but the upper back body opens. This is how we create integrity in the low spine. We'll do 6 of these. Keep the left hip gliding back. Two more. And one more. Keep this back body nice and long. And now let the shoulders come in front of the hips. Feel this ski slope quality. Keep that extension of the spine, but lower the right arm down. Nothing's changed in the lower body. You can always bring the right hand onto a block. Now, reach this left arm back as you rotate the torso towards the left and up. A little stiffer on this side for me. And then bend the left elbow, come back towards center. Keep this left knee inward. Again, reach behind you and up. Can you, wow, I can. Can you feel where this extension is happening in the low back, low hip? There, just released. And last one. Now stay here and breathe. Keep that left knee in, keep gliding the left hip back. So accessing inner right groin here, which is the last holdout of healing for my right hip. I'm at 4.5 months. So shoulders stay down, feel the extension of the back body, and then left hand comes down. Keep the torso nice and long, right toe under, elevate the right knee. Now stay here for a moment, left hand, right hand onto the floor, onto the block. Can you retain that extension of the back body as you press into the palms and extend your left leg back? Is that more extended? Lift the thighs towards the sky, or pressing the palms in further, down dog. We tend to feel like we're getting extension when we shrug our shoulders up, which to some degree that's true. But we want to feel the extension in those places that we want to build strength between the vertebra. Yoga has less weight bearing than, let's say, weightlifting, but it's there. We use TheraBands, we use straps, we use our own body weight as weightlifting. Now lift the heels, squeeze legs towards midline. So you can get a sense of that sacrum kind of opening, hips opening away from the sacrum. Come forward, get that nice long spine. Lower the left knee down, elevate the right leg, left arm forward, effortlessly. It all comes from the middle. We're going to do that several times. Lower the left hand down, right toe down, back to down dog. And we're going to do it on forearms too. My tendency is to stretch through the back of my flat neck. And I want to keep it long instead. Shift the weight to the left foot as you come forward. Or no, come forward into your plank. Lower the right knee down. Effortlessly extend the left leg out. Right arm up. Lower right hand down. Right knee down. Let's come on to our forearms. Interlace our fingers. Walk the elbows forward a little bit so you have a little more space because we're coming into forearm plank. Now, find the forearm plank. Keep the spine long by pulling the bellies up and in. Keep the back body long by lifting the thighs towards the ceiling. Can you now press into the palms and let your hips lift, but don't walk your feet forward? Feel the burden of the weight on the shoulders, but shoulder blades are down. Lower the knees down, keep the palms there, and shift back. I'm a little too far back, and release into the underarms. Now we've extended the spine with gravity. Let's see what we can do against gravity. Straighten the arms. Let's slide back. Shift our buttock to one side. Swing the legs around and come into a seated Dandasana. So Dandasana is staff pose. Danda means staff. Let's sit here for a moment and breathe and just see if anything feels different. What I feel is my little Maui belly shifting over my pant waist. How's that low back feel? In this position, bend the knees ever so slightly, walk them a little wider than hip distance, and then squeeze towards midline. Actually, let's grab our block and bring it in between our calves lengthwise. So I want you to feel this extension and transitions because oftentimes we'll collapse to move and then we'll expand. A little more wear and tear. Requires a little more focus and attention. So now you're going to inch your heels back about halfway. So now you're roughly at a 20 to 30-degree angle. Reach elbow to hand, hand to elbow like we did in the beginning and hold on to that. So just feel the challenge of this slight angle. Low bellies, pelvic floor meet low bellies, meet ribs, and then inch your heels forward and let the torso come forward without wiggle wiggle in the low back. Reach the elbows up now, shoulders up. So we're facilitating a little more elongation. Squeeze calves into the block. Feel the pelvic floor muscle, lower belly, a little harder for the ribs to funnel in, but stronger. And just inch your heels back a little further. Keep your heels onto the ground as best you can. Keep the arms overhead. If not, just keep them straight in front of you. If they're straight in front of you, drop the shoulders down. It might be a little easier. So now we're roughly 45-ish degree angle. Feel the weight of the head. We've got the block in between our shins. Feet are flexed, heels to the floor. But feel it in elongated spine. And then inch your heels forward. Let the arms float up, shoulders stay down. Release the elbows. Rotate towards the right. Reach the right hand behind you, left hand to the outside of the right knee. This is where we get into trouble. When we do our twists without the extension first, we can get away with it when we're younger. We can get away with anything when we're younger, except for wisdom. Can't fake wisdom. But as you breathe, are you noticing anything different? Perhaps you have a little more rotation accessible to you. Now keep the torso rotating towards the right. Draw the chin down and the head back. So instead of relaxing the chin up and the back of the neck compresses, lower the chin down, head back, and just rotate the head towards the front. So again, we've got the extension of now the cervical spine. Fill it up with air. One more breath here. Pelvic floor, low bellies, ribs in, rotate everything towards the right. And then keep the extension, like press the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Lift the hands away from the body and the floor, bend the elbows, and rotate back towards center, like a little Tyrannosaurus Rex. Take the right elbow on top of the left, crisscross the elbows. As you press your shoulders down, take a breath in. Now, see if you can retain that extension and yet still roll over a barrel. So feel the low bellies lift underneath the ribs and a slow forward fold. So we're not collapsing in the spine, we're still extending in a forward fold, which is kind of a hard concept for some people, especially in a seated pose, if they're not strong enough or in touch with their core. Come halfway up or three-quarters of the way up. Take an inhale. Bellies pull in once again and forward fold a little bit more. This time, let the chin drop. Inhale halfway up. Let the arms float, unwind, and bring them down. Relax the feet, relax the block, take a breath in. Feel that vitality. We're just sitting. All right, Katie, stay with us so we can do the other side, and then I think you have to go, yeah? Okay. But just feel that. We haven't done rock and roll yoga, and yet we've really worked it. So squeeze legs towards midline again. Pelvic floor, low belly, reach the arms up. Keep the shoulder blades down now, but keep the crown of the head lifting up. As you exhale, rotate towards the left. One side will feel different than the other. You can have your left hand to the block, but none of this rounding the upper lower back. Keep the lower back strong, not convex, not concave, just extend it upwards. Take about 4 to 6 breaths. Each inhalation, reach, extend upwards energetically and physically as the shoulders drop down. Exhale, feel the muscular strength of all those pelvic floor muscles and bellies pulling up and in to support an extended spine. You know that classic warning from PTs about carrying groceries out of the car because we're bending forward, picking up the groceries from the trunk, and then we're twisting. That's big old red flag. Proper body mechanics. Keep the chin down, the head back. Some of us need more extension in different areas of the back spine. For me, I have a flattened and compressed cervical spine, so I'm working that. Now keep the twist towards the left, keep the shoulder blades down, keep squeezing towards midline. See if you can gain another half an inch, crown of the head towards the ceiling. On the inhale, as you exhale, just rotate the head, chin down and back. Good. Now continue to twist the body to the left as you rotate the head towards the right. Breathe. Now, Monica, this is interesting for you. The block is keeping you relatively stable as well as the fusion, but where can you find the twist? Where can you find the integrity? Probably not super fun for you, but very valuable. I keep twisting the torso towards the left somehow. I keep extending the head up. Head rotates towards the right. Now, on your next exhalation, keeping the neck long, rotate the head towards the back of the room. And then keep the extension as you let the hands lift away, bend the elbows. Just feel the integrity of the spine as you rotate back. That was fun. Inhale the arms up. Inhale the arms wide. Inhale the arms behind you now. Take the block out from in between your legs and bring it between your palms. Mm, mine doesn't fit. Do the best you can. Wow. Maybe just fingers press into the block or nothing. Take a breath in. Here's our upper back bending, yet we're asking the lower body to extend. Bend the knees, pull the heels back, a slow 45-degree angle forward fold. 3 breaths here. Wow. Feel the triceps work. Yep. And then draw the bellies in on the exhale, extend the crown, release the block, extend the fingers, sweep the arms behind you and up. Keep the knees slightly bent, belly up and in, shoulders down. Now forward fold. Now about 60 degrees. Can you have that flexion in the spine and still keep the elongation? So you're actually hinging at the pelvis, which is where you're supposed to hinge. 2 more breaths here. I know this is a bit of work. And then with this beautiful extension, muscular strength, now fold over those thighs and round the low back, upper back. Breathe here. You can grab the block behind you, bring it underneath your forehead. And Katie, I know you got to go, but give yourself a little on the back restorative before you do, because I know you don't want to. Now let's see how our Navasana works. To come up, we're not rounding the upper back. If you can hold on to ankles, great. If you can hold on to the palms of your feet in this forward fold, great. Pull back on whatever you can find as you inhale forward and up. So feel that support. Slide the hands back. Take your block lengthwise between your calves. Keep the extension of the spine as the hands come down by your side. And just heel, 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 heel. The heels back till the knees are bent. Nothing changes in the upper body. And then once you're beyond 45, exhale, let the shins lift, let the arms come out by your side, palms to the ceiling. Flex the feet and point, and flex and point, flex, point. Keep the spine long. This is where we get tired. We want to collapse. 2 more, and 1 more. And then draw the knees towards the chest without collapsing the spine. Heels down. Now reach the shins or the backs of your thighs. Keep the spine long and come right up onto your sits bones. Remove the block. Bring the second side in between your feet. Let your feet come wide. Now you're shifting a little bit in front of your sits bones. Now you feel a little more natural pelvic tilt, a little curve in the spine, but a little easier for the spine to extend upwards. So your feet can be further away, they can be closer. Press into the block, lift the toes, feel the activation into the thighs, and then gently relax. Take an inhale. Exhale, press ball mound, pinky mound, heel in, lift the toes away, squeeze into the block, feel the spine extend upwards. And then as you exhale, just relax. You don't collapse, you just relax. 2 more like that and feel the musculature of the inner thighs begin to release. And last one. And now take your block, flip it to the highest height. Keep your feet here. Can you feel the extension of the spine as you forward fold? Keep it long. And then go ahead, round the forehead down. Hopefully find your block. Maybe your block has to be a little higher. I've actually elevated it so that my backs of my hands are on my feet. The block is balanced on my fingers that are extending upwards. You could do 2 blocks as well. 1 more. And then feel the extension of the spine before you lift everything back up. Reach the arms up. Bring the knees together, sweep the arms around, release the block, come into Ardha Navasana or extend the full legs up. Flex, point. Arms by your side, straight forward are the fingers. And then bend the knees towards your chest, heels to the floor, sit upright. And now we're going to do one more Navasana before we slowly lower down with the integrity of our strength that we've been building. So you may need to scooch forward a little bit because when we land, we ain't moving. Start here. You can inch your heels out. So you come a little bit on top of those sits bones, reach the arms up towards the sky as you inhale. Shoulders can come up, but then as you exhale, shoulders drop down, bellies pull in, shift back 45, 60, elevate the shins, Ardha Navasana, arms by your side, full Navasana, legs extend, nothing changed in the upper back body. Flex both feet, flare through the toes. Let's take a breath in, feel the elongation. As you exhale, slowly lower down a count of 5. Keep extending even as you lower down. 4, 3, a lot of work. 2, even the crown of the head. 1, and release. Now just feel. Don't move. Just feel and breathe. Now, notice how your low back feels. Did it get a little crampy on the way down, depending on your structure? So let's all of us spin the toes towards the ceiling, extend through the heels, squeezing up into the thighs, feel the low belly lift. Now towards the yoga mat, and then begin to bend one knee, foot to the floor, the other knee, foot to the floor, and feel the lower back make contact. Now press down on the feet, keep the bellies lifting, and slowly, now we're not going to undulate up, we're going to keep a flat extended spine. As we press the feet down and forward, lift the hips up. Keep the back as neutral as you can. So you may not come up as high. You still have a ski slope from knee to chest. Take a breath in. As you exhale, pelvic floor lifts, belly lifts, ribs funnel in, shoulders stay down, palms to the ceiling, squeeze arms towards midline, lower down, flat back. It's not really flat, it's just neutral. Once you land evenly, take a breath in and feel. Like to me, uh, now I'm not much of a drinker, but for some reason I'm thinking of cognac. And if you know your liquor, you know good versus bad, or maybe brandy, smooth brandy. So think of like the smoothest something. Take a breath in. We're going to do it one more time. Now notice the neck is still pretty happy. It's got its natural curve, and yet it's got the extension of the spine we've been practicing and developing all through practice. On your next exhalation, pelvic floor lift, belly lift, shoulders down, ribs funnel in, press the feet down and forward, and feel the integrity. Take about 10 counts to lift up. You might have to take a few extra breaths in between, no worries. It's like a 2-ton bridge, drawbridge. Fully strong and extended. Stay up here, squeeze legs towards midline. Keep the back of the neck long. I'm not super high. Feel the integrity. Take one more breath in. And now we're going to lower down with that same extension. So keep the bellies lifted, ribs funneling in, shoulders down, lower down, the same amount of time, about 10 counts. Notice if one wants to hit the floor before the other. And the eagle has landed. Take a free breath here. Walk your feet to the edges of the yoga mat. Let your knees knock. Bring your hands onto your belly. Now the shoulders can relax a little bit. Now the low back can relax a little bit. Now the breath can relax a little bit. When we can find that integrity and stability in an extended posture, it feels like we can do anything. Can you imagine if Superman were gonna, he sticks his fist up in the air and he was all rounded and curled up in a ball as he was extending upwards? Not super empowering, but he is fully extended when he flies out. And we can be fully supported and strong as we move through our world. Integrity of the body, integrity in our actions. And then slowly walk the feet towards one another. Let's bend the right knee and the left knee towards the chest ever so slowly. So you can still feel the lower back lengthening. You can hold on to one knee if you like. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, feel the lower back lengthen as you bring the left knee towards your chest. Now, I'm not going to ask you to roll your nose up towards your knee. That's a full flexion. But as the knees hug, either grabbing your shins or the backs of your thighs, feel the breath expand into the low back area. We did a lot of work. Now, can you roll over to one side and end up in a seated posture without rounding the back? Do it on an exhale. Head's the last thing to come on up, but let it ride up on that extended spine. As we finish up here with palms towards the ceiling, notice the low back. Notice the middle back. Notice the upper back. Notice if it wants to curve and round, and maybe grab a blanket and elevate your sits bones just enough so the spine can stay extended. Keeping our spines healthy, the vertebrae lubricated, buoyant, hydrated. Bring our palms together in front of our heart. Let the thumbs rest on the sternum. So on the retreat, I explained briefly Pono, and you might recognize that word from a Hawaiian process called Ho'oponopono, which it means making right, and Pono means right. So here we are in this beautiful upright Pono posture, right thinking, right speech, right thoughts, right words, right actions. The integrity of the Hawaiian people started with the philosophy and connection to higher source. So here we are now with the integrity of the spine and the crown of the head reaching towards source, whatever that is for you, symbolically, of course. Now we'll close here in a namaste, but perhaps you might want to stay here, enjoying the delicious extension of your spine and the muscular strength and integrity around the vertebra. Take about 5, 10 minutes of quiet meditation, just watching the breath, inhale and exhale. And as they say also in Hawaii, a hui ho, until we meet again, namaste, mahalo, aloha.